Hello everyone, this is Ashley Tucker. Thank you for joining me today. Today I have a pretty simple card design using this stencil. I actually found this pack of stencils at Walmart and I wanted to try them out and see how they did. I have a white piece of cardstock taped down to my board and I'm taping the stencil on top of it. I'm going to use 3 different colors of Distress Oxide ink. The first color that I'm using is Wilted Violet, and then I'm going to come in with some Candied Apple and then Fossilized Amber. So yeah, like I said, I got this pack of stencils at Walmart and they were only $2. I was just browsing around the craft section at Walmart like I do pretty much every time I go to Walmart, and I was in the paint section and I saw these, and they have 6 different designs. There's 3 pages and there's 2 designs per stencil, and they were only $2, and I was like, I'm gonna grab these and see how they work, and they seem to work really well, so I'm pretty happy with it. I actually grabbed 2 different packs of stencils that I saw there. I got this one that had the 6 designs in it, and then I got another one that had 12 designs in it. They're just laid out 4 per page instead of 2 per page. So they're a little bit smaller, but I think I'll still be able to find a good use for them. There's some really good designs, and I know I'm going to be able to find a use for them. So once all of the blending was done, here comes the magical part where you remove the stencil and see how it came out, and I loved it. And you know what? I was looking at that stencil and all of the ink is on it still, and I really loved the way that the ink looked on the stencil, and it made me wonder what ink would look like blended onto vellum, because I feel like it would create the same kind of look, but you know, I'd have to test that out. I don't know how well that would work. I feel like the ink wouldn't stay on the vellum. It would probably rub off, but that's definitely something I'm going to play with in the future. So I cut this panel down to size, and I cut it so that it would have just a little bit of a border around it when I put it on the card base, and then I'm going to pop it up with some foam tape. After I get this panel adhered down to my card base, I'm going to start working on my sentiment. The sentiment that I'm using for this card comes from the Hero Arts My Monthly Hero Kit from March 2018, and it says, "Hello there." I'm going to use my Misty tool to stamp this, and the first thing that I'm going to do is prep this paper for heat embossing. So I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool and just go over the area where I'm stamping, and then I'm going to use my Versamark ink to stamp this sentiment. I'm going to be using a white embossing powder for this sentiment, and I always do my embossing right over a coffee filter because I find it very easy to just pour it right back into the jar from that coffee filter. I used my heat tool to finish the embossing, and now I'm just going to use my paper trimmer to cut this down to size. I took the sentiment that I just made, and I'm going to pop it up in the corner there with some foam tape. When I first started this card, I wasn't intending it to be in this layout, this orientation. I was going to have the design along the right hand side of the card instead of along the bottom like this. But when I was putting my sentiment on the card to see what it looked like, it just didn't look right in that orientation, so I turned it and it looked much better like this. To finish up this card, I got out my clear sequins. I wanted the main focal point of this card to be that beautiful stencil design in the background, and I didn't want to take away from that design by adding a whole ton of embellishments. So I figured clear sequins were the way to go, because I still get the sparkle, because you know I love the sparkle, but because they're clear, they don't take away from that design at all. So that finishes up this card. Thank you for watching today. I hope you really enjoyed this design. All of the supplies used for this card can be found in the description down below. If you enjoyed watching and you haven't subscribed yet, please be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can see all of my future videos. I'll be back with a new video on Monday. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a really good weekend.